A very good day to you. Welcome to Herman Manyora's channel. My name is Jadiel, Kabiro, ready for today's political conversation. A conversation that is always simple, truthful, hard-hitting as Prof puts it, and always unbiased. Sir, karibu sana on set.
Asante, Judge.
Today's political conversation is a conversation that we don't like having. Former Prime Minister Raila Odinga's entourage was attacked in Uasin Gishu on Friday. Goons attacking his helicopter, attacking his vehicles. When you look at this, what is the first thing that came to mind when you heard of this news?
We shouldn't have that again. Not at this time, not another time, but particularly when the atmosphere is charged, when you are so close to an election that is very closely fought, you don't need this kind of thing. It must be avoided. We must point out the people who ought to do something, Those who ought to have done something must be reminded they didn't do it, and they should not allow this to happen again.
Why do these leaders come up with this kind of attacks towards other politicians? Because it doesn't help anyone. Is there any benefit to either sides?
You know what? Sometimes we may blame leaders for nothing. Maybe the only way we can blame them is for charging the atmosphere. The way they charge their followers, then they begin to see the other side as comprising not of fellow Kenyans, but of enemies.
Oh.
And the person, then the object that represents that hatred is either Ruto for one side and Raila or either the other side. This is really bad. But it is people who must be asked not to engage in this. So, and the police, I have said repeatedly, we want to see the police arresting people. You cannot tell me that you don't know them. How? This will be known people. It's simple. They will get. Everybody knows them. They will be known. Identify them, take them to police, take them to court, let them face the law.
Junet calls,
and they face the music.
He called Caleb Koistani as part of the people that
they have talked of Governor Mandago. It is possible, but where I sit from here, I don't know. But I know politicians, why they will do that, if they did, is to endear themselves to Ruto.
Oh.
You see, and to the electorate. Koistani is wanting to be governor. Mandago wants to be senator. So they want to endear themselves to Ruto and perhaps also to the electorate to be voted in. No. This has happened in the past. We are told there are so many things that happened during the Kenyatta reign, which Kenyatta even didn't know. Sometimes people, overzealous followers, do things in your name. You
said the same thing when the attack happened to DP's side in Jacaranda. You said it probably is someone who wants to show Raila
that I'm really in charge. Someone like Babu Awino. What is it called? Babu
Awino.
Maybe. So maybe Koistani, maybe Mandago, but maybe not.
Former Prime Minister.
But if they are the ones we can explain, in terms of them wanting to show Ruto they are really important, indispensable, they are his soldiers, and also in terms of trying to look for votes.
Okay.
So then we must also blame the Raila side.
Blame him for what?
Yeah.
Why?
We must blame the Raila side because Raila has always had his security intact when the state was not there for him. So that now that the state has come in, why do you send your loyal troops on leave? Or on retirement? You should blend. You can blend.
So he needs to work on his security?
Yes, you blend. These people used to protect Raila very well. He should blend state security with his own security. You blend.
Okay.
The next blame, I don't like blaming people, but we must also point out that the security department must know Raila is no longer just Raila Amolo Odinga. Raila is now a candidate, officially a candidate. Ruto is officially a candidate. In America, the moment you are nominated by the Republican Party or the Democratic Party, if you are not the president, serving president, you get state security. The Secret Service, immediately. Because something happens to you, the country can burn. So those in charge of security in this country, both from the intelligence community, the police, all those people in charge with security, they must know Raila is no longer just another person. This is a closely fought election. And the very sensitive things are happening in this country. If anything were to happen to any of these two gentlemen, this country could burn. So they must provide sufficient security
Okay.
I cannot understand how Raila can land somewhere and there are only 2 policemen there.
Oh.
I cannot understand. On his part, Raila, he must work closely with the intelligence and the security people. They must know where he's going. Sio tu nilikuwa tu hapa. Now let me go to a funeral. No, it can't work. You are no longer Raila.
Oh.
You now belong to Kenya. Anything happening to you, Kenyans will be affected. So I am looking at Raila's side. I'm looking at the intelligence. I'm looking at the security side. I'm also looking at the politics, and I'm looking at Ruto, and I'm wanting to ask him. He must know. It was not a secret that Raila was going there. It was not a secret.
Everyone knew.
It was known.
Yeah.
That's why I'm wondering how the security didn't do what they were supposed. But I'm also wondering, why didn't Ruto send people on the ground to tell them, please, make sure boys are not excited about this. We could lose this thing because of that.
Oh.
We could lose it. Because let's say the worst happens. You occasion injury to your only opponent.
Okay.
Or then he can't even run. You also can't run. How? You can't win the president.
Things will be bad.
Yeah. Somebody else will now come and benefit.
See, it's being politicized right now.
Yeah, so
because I'm actually seeing Kondele trending because of what happened to DP Ruto on that side.
That was also bad. We said it was bad.
Yeah.
But I also blamed Ruto. You are trying to show you are a man. You saw Raila go back to the car in E10. That's what you are supposed to do. Ruto didn't do that. He wanted to show he's a man. But supposing the stone hit you, these are guys who eat ugali, ile rafu ugali. They can, a rock this big, they can, if it gets you, you die. Kenya is gone. Because Ruto, I have said, Ruto is not Ruto. Ruto stopped being William Ruto Samoei. The son to that nice lady, I kind of forgotten her name. He stopped long time ago. He's not William Ruto Samoei. No. He's somebody else.
So you say
you scratch him a bit, you are scratching Kenya. You touch Ruto, you are touching Kenya. So he must know he doesn't belong to himself. And therefore I said at that time, Ruto should not have been that selfish. And I'm not liking what I'm seeing. Even Ruto, he's getting into crowds, and you saw before this thing came in the law, he was bundles of money, 2 million giving to a crowd.
Yeah.
The stampede, you can also die there. And the moment you die or something bad happens to you, Kenya cannot be the same. No, because you are not Ruto. And you are not Raila.
Okay.
Raila is not Raila, Ruto is not Ruto. I don't know whether they know these things. You don't just wake up from your bedroom and bid your wife bye-bye. Yeah. Good day. And then you just jump into any place you want. No, we can't allow you. And that's why the problem with Kenyan politics, they don't, and as with many other things, we don't value professionals. Somebody like Raila ought to be managed by a manager. Same to Ruto. Managed by a manager. A man who will tell you today you are not living here and you don't go. I said that about Ruto when he was in Kisumu. You need a manager. You need a team that has security experts who will tell you you are not going to Kondele. Hakuna kujifanya, they will not allow you to go. You will not go. Okay. That is where we have reached. American presidents are stopped from doing things they want to do. Yeah. Obama was told, you like this BlackBerry, hakuna tunachukua. Yeah. No, tunachukua.
Because you're Obama, you're the president.
Now, this is what I'm going to make. You'll make me almost head big president. My BlackBerry is tunachukua. Okay. Even where you sleep in your house, they can tell you not that bedroom.
The windows are not...
Yeah, now you go to the other bedroom. Mtu akiingia hapo ndio ataanzia. You have to follow that, because when you are president, you don't belong to yourself. Because if anything happens to you, you ban the country. And therefore, I'm looking at Matiangi's docket and President Uhuru and ask them, they must know this is a very, very, very sensitive period. Anything small happening to any of these two guys, the country could be on fire. And therefore, they must be very careful with the security. Raila's security is not his security. I want to repeat, Ruto's security is not his security. It's about the security of Kenyans.
Okay. Yeah. Statement from Raila. He said, I call on the two and all leaders from the region who believe in our constitution to come out now, not later, condemn the incident and promise an end to these bizarre attempts of balkanizing the country into ethnic and tribal party zones ahead of August elections. I'm looking at these zones, ethnic and tribal zones. How do they come into play when it comes to election and helping a presidential
first of all, he overstepped. How do you know they were the boys who were bought? How do you conclude it's zoning?
They were saying they
could just be excited boys. It could just be a stupid MP. getting overexcited and overzealous. That doesn't amount to zoning. No. This is a serious thing. You go and sit down, reflect, gather information, then talk. You don't just talk mid-air before you know what has happened down there. No, you don't do that. Ruto did the same. No.
What could be the effect
when something happens to you in a Kondele, you think it's Luos doing it. You think it's Raila doing it. Then I wonder really, if that were the case, would you leave Kisumu? How? If Luos wanted to hit Ruto, would he leave Kisumu? He wouldn't. So if something happens in Kondele, that could be an isolated instance. Same with Raila where it happened.
So you think this
Don't
is an
jump to conclusions,
over-exaggeration?
zoning, people have been bought. No, you don't do that.
Is this bad for
The
the country?
seriousness with which serious people like me view you begins to diminish.
Oh.
Because when something like that happens, you need to take time to understand what happened. Gather information. Then when you talk, serious people can take you serious. But then you just say, boys have been bought, zoning. Then you are just talking like Oscar Sudi, like Junet Mohammed. You must be above that.
Don't you think he was a little bit scared of what happened?
You leave that to Junet Mohammed, not Raila. No, that statement is wrong. His communication team must tell him that statement is wrong. It should not come from a senior person. I can understand maybe Ruto Kidogo, but not Raila.
Is this bad because
that's below Raila.
It seems to be sparking a conversation that people are afraid of speaking about zoning, ethnical zoning?
That will have to come later. You need to understand what's going on. Once you understand what's going on, even people to take you serious, you don't get zoned, and when you are in mid-air, you say people have been bought. People are zoning. Nobody takes you serious.
Okay.
I want people to take you serious. And therefore, take time. Land in Nairobi. You can issue an initial statement. This is what has happened. And we ask the security forces to get the root of this problem. Then you leave it there.
And I am safe.
I'm safe. Thank God I'm safe. My team and I, safe.
Yeah.
Then you go away. Then tomorrow you issue a statement. So when you talk of being bought, boys being bought, being paid, people zoning, even if it is not true, people will believe you. Communication.
Communication first.
It's very important. And there's something like believability. Can people believe what you are saying? Because they subject it to a mental test. Say now, boys have just told you. How do you know they were bought? Immediately. How do you know they are zoning? But you have been, so...
Okay. This isn't the first time that we're saying this. We've talked about security agencies. Can something be done to avoid all this? Because the conversation is, will Ruto be attacked later on? That is what people are speaking about.
That's a fear. That's why I have said, Matiang'i has spoken. He must go beyond words. The police must act better than they have acted before. The courts must send the signal. Because if boys are arrested, and some smart lawyers in some plastic suits speaking some stupid English.
You like to call them stupid.
Rush to court and ask for bail. And the court gives very cheap bail terms. 500 shillings, 5,000 shillings, even 50 because the politicians will pay for them. And then the case will be heard next year and be dismissed. You could set this country on fire.
The trend will continue.
Yes, because now Ruto could be attacked in Migori. And then Raila is attacked, and the country could disappear. I have repeated 2 things. 1, there's no option to peace. Peace is number 1, number 2, number 3. Number 2, I have repeated. Countries have gone down for less than this. What happened to Raila Odinga? It's so big. In order to understand it is big, you must know countries have gone up in flames because of smaller things than those.
Okay.
Whenever you have an ethnic dimension to something, and it is militarized, and especially in an election period, you are dancing with a lighter around an overturned fuel tanker carrying petrol. It's dangerous for the country. Dangerous.
Let's wipe the conversation there. Thank you so much for tuning in into today's political conversation. Prof is saying you're dancing with a lighter right next to an overturned fuel tanker.
Yes.
Till we do have these conversations again. Thank you so much. Have yourself a lovely rest of your day.